Hello, you're here to debate.
Yes, I'm here to debate.
All right, what's your name, age, pronouns, please?
Richard, 22, he, him.
Okay, Richard, what topic do you disagree with on the board?
Well, I would have to say that I really disagree with gender affirming care for youth. I think that's how you have it.
Yep, gender affirming care for minors. Why would you disagree with gender affirming care for the minor population?
Well, yeah, actually, I was going to bring up the main reason I would disagree with it is I don't know if you've seen it or looked into it as of recent, but there was this review, the UK CAS review.
Yep, I know. I'm very familiar with the CAS review.
Oh, you're familiar with it?
Yep, I've read it multiple times. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All 388 pages.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't ask me to recite any of it like off the top of the dome.
No.
Been a while, but yes, I've read the CAS review. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Up until maybe that review, and I'm pretty sure I think like Sweden and a couple other places have also released their form of the CAS review now, and up until then, I was actually more or less neutral on the topic, and I mean, I wasn't against it. You know, I have family members that are trans, and I supported it. But as it goes for minors, I've always been kind of conflicted. What would you make of the UK CAS review? You know, you seem to know about it, but still support this position.
Yeah, no, yeah, sure. I would just say the same thing Cass says about her own review, that it's not meant to remove gender affirming care from this population, but it just recommends that we go to a clinical trial model, or not a clinical trial model, a research model, like a clinical research model.
Yeah.
So what Cass says is we shouldn't be removing these things from children. We shouldn't be removing gender affirming care from them. We should be researching it more. So what the UK has done is I can't spell. What the UK has done is the UK has basically said, hey, we're still going to give out these things, but like we're going to research while we do. So they've just moved to a more clinical setting. And in an interview, Hillary Cass did an interview with the Kite Trust, which is a organization meant for supporting gender and gender identity and stuff among young people. And in that interview, she specifically said, where is it? The review and report does not conclude that puberty suppressing hormones are an unsafe treatment. The report supports a research study being implemented to allow pre-pubertal children to have a pathway to accessing this treatment in a timely way with suitable follow-up and data collection. So the whole thing with the CAS report is they just didn't feel that the data collection was accurate in the way it was done before. So they just changed the way they do it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I mean, the way it had got brought to my attention was I was actually debating with one of my family members over trans right, because I mean at the moment I'm conflicted. At least after what you said, it that makes more sense. And I think maybe the way they had first portrayed it to me, it was just to benefit their I guess side of the argument.
A lot of people have used the CAS, and I don't deny that the CAS review has been used to manipulate gender affirming care over in the UK, because a lot of people will use it to be like, well, see, this isn't researched enough. But we can't research it. First and foremost, it is researched enough, but we can't do what Cass wanted to see. If I'm recalling the report correctly, is they just wanted to see the research primarily on like how timely it's given. They wanted a bit more research on mental health factors, things like that. But they weren't really interested in the research when it comes to like side effects as much, because they already knew what the side effects were. It was these other aspects that they're kind of trying to research, but they can't research those without being able to research them. So when people say we're going to remove gender affirming care because of the CAS review, that is not what CAS wanted. That's not what the report says. The report says to move to a more treatment-based clinical model that is researched while it's being undergone.
Yeah. Okay. I see. That makes a lot more sense. I think. It definitely has been used for like transphobia arguments and stuff, and then I feel like that's kind of what the person who I was arguing with, who I'm close with. So I took their word for it, and I looked into it, but it's 388 pages, so it's real hard for, average folk like me, who's working all the time to settle down and be able to look into it. But okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I'll have to look into it a little more. What would you is your like support for it all the way? You think that like it's safe for minors and everything? That's like another thing that I'm always scared about. Like one of my sister, her kid wanted to go through it, but I was real worried about how it might affect their body. Is you think they'd be okay if they were to go through it?
Yeah, I'm definitely in support of gender affirming care, even in the minor population, right? Like I'm fully in support of
Mm.
this. The
Mm-hmm.
research that I have shows that it is safe, it is effective. Obviously, there will be side effects like there are for any treatment, but those are usually mitigated through proper monitoring by a healthcare professional. And then
Yeah.
a lot of the one of the biggest side effects that people talk about all the time is like bone density issues, which can be combated like with vitamins and stuff like
Yeah.
that, a proper regimen of like uh exercise and things like that. So yeah, I
Okay.
haven't seen any, and I've looked, I haven't seen any research that really suggests that we should be removing this from the population. The only
No.
research I've really
Yeah.
seen is that we actually it may be too stringent to receive while we're currently on like the W path standard. But
Mm.
right now it seems like a safe and effective thing, and it definitely, I think it should all be individualized. So I don't want to make like broad sweeping claims of what we should or shouldn't do.
For
I
sure.
think it should be
Yeah.
individualized by the patient and the doctor, what they might want to do.
Yeah, okay, okay. And one more thing, I don't want to waste your time, but
Yeah, sure.
what is it called? When I was having I guess the debate slash argument with my family member over this, I brought up the Amsterdam study. I can't remember it fully by name, but it was I think it maybe took place. I can't say. It was a long-term study. It was one of the main long-term studies that we refer to when people make their argument that we don't know how this affects, trans
Hmm.
members, in the long term. I think it was the Amsterdam cohort study or something. Um, like,
It
have you
was
looked into that
it was
before?
the yes, I know which one you're talking about. I had to make sure I had the right one. It's a gender dysphoria study that looks at prevalence, treatment, and regret. It was done between 1972 and 2015
Hmm.
is the times they looked
Yeah.
at. Through this study, they found that only 0.6% of trans women and 0.3% of trans men experienced regret after they underwent gonadectomy, so
Hmm.
bottom surgery. um Only zero point 0.6 and zero point 0.3 regretted that surgery.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's what I had brought up that study because I had looked at it, but when I was debating with this family folk or whatever, they had basically said that it wasn't an accurate study, and that the main issues with it were that it lacked control groups and like sectional bias, or selection
What
bias.
control groups would they need to see? Because we're not really
Could
looking
you say that?
it's just weird that they said you wouldn't really need a control group if we're just looking at regret rate, right? Because how can
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't really look at a, like when you're looking at regret rate, that's what's the control group going to be? If I want to
Yeah.
know the prevalence of regret, I would only really be looking at the population that underwent this treatment. I can't get an
Hmm.
accurate regret rate from people who did not undergo this treatment. So what did they want from a control group?
Well, yeah, no, that's exactly what I was trying. I mean, to me, I wasn't too sharp with academics, and they were really smart and stuff our whole lives. So, it kind of felt like it. I don't know. I think it's a superiority complex that I hold them to a higher standard. So I just didn't really
Mhm.
question it. But yeah, now that you're saying it, I guess that wouldn't make too much sense, would it? Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't when we when we're looking at regret rates for anything. If I'm looking at the regret rate for
Yeah.
people who underwent like knee surgery, I'm not going to look at people who didn't undergo knee surgery. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah. No, now that you say it, oh damn, man, I need to go back and come with some new ammunition. Would you have any other points that maybe I would be able to use against their main claims? I would say is that they feel that the studies that we have aren't accurate enough, that they're biased, they pretty much they throw a lot of dirt on these studies. I'm just
Do you
wondering, is
notice
there
how
any,
vague they
you know,
are? This is what I tend to do. If you notice how vague they are about their critiques of the study, it's always, well, these studies aren't accurate. These studies are biased. Like, okay, be
yeah,
specific. Go into each
yeah,
study and tell me specifically what was wrong with their
yeah,
methodology, what was wrong. Because usually, I'll tell you, they haven't read the studies. They haven't read them.
yeah,
So they're, tell me what methodology, what's wrong with their methodology. Tell me why their results are wrong. Tell me these
yeah.
things. Be specific. I always tell people, like, don't be vague. If you're gonna be vague, I'm just gonna assume you don't know what you're talking about. Be very, because if they were,
Okay,
because
yeah,
like the study you brought up, the Amsterdam study, they were like, well, here's my specific issue, but your issue doesn't make sense with the type of study. It like makes no
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, no, I guess I just didn't even really notice it because I've just always, yeah, they've always, I felt like they're always smarter than me, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess not in this situation specifically. Well, yeah, no, I mean, thank you, man. Thank you for informing me and everything. I really appreciate it. I'll move forward, and hopefully I'll win this next argument with them if we come across it again. But yeah,
Yeah, for
man,
sure.
thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All
You
right,
have a
you
great
have a
rest of
good
your
day,
day.
man.
You too. That was a nice